For lesson 11, we are going to be working with responsive web design and looking at media queries for mobile, which is adaptive design. So responsive design and adaptive design. And you're going to go through the lecture demo after you have read the pages in the book. The lecture demo just expands and gives you more detail on what is in the book. So it talks about responsive design and the code that you need for the viewport, which is basically this code that you can simply copy and paste. And you do need that code in there, or if you pull things up on mobile, it's not going to look right. There are some general design guidelines for viewports, which is mobile, and so we covered those as well. You can read through that. Talk about relative sizing of text. What I tend to use, because it's easiest for me to remember, is EM, and I also use percentages. EM is really easy because 2EM is about 2 times the normal size. 3EM is 3 times the normal size. 0.5 is half the normal size. So for me, EM, super easy to remember, and that's what I use. I also use percentages, and both of those are mobile friendly. I do have a little link here on more information on absolute and relative lengths or widths, because that is an area people get confused on. I gave you a little example so you can see the difference between using VW, EM, and CH. So you can see where the different ones are used. And so far, we've been using Flexbox for mobile, and you are going to learn how to use Grid View. I highly recommend that you master Grid View because it is an awesome layout and it gives you a lot more control than Flexbox does. And basically with Grid View, you have to envision your screen into 12 columns. That's visually how you are breaking the screen up. And that example you actually can see here. And I love the way this layout works. I find it super easy to use. And hopefully after working through the textbook and the lab assignments, you will also feel more comfortable with it. This section basically tells you how to set up Grid View. This code is something that you can copy and paste right into your CSS because this is defining the 12 columns. Okay, and then you also need this, so your columns will line up side by side. So the CSS you need for Grid View is all right here, and you can copy and paste. And then kind of how it works is any columns that you want side by side, you kind of look in here. So if I have 2 columns and I want the first one to be smaller than the second one, and I want them to equal 100%, I would pick column 3 for the first and column 9 for the second, which is exactly what I did. But if I had one column that I wanted to span the whole entire width, like a header or a footer, I would give it column 12. Okay, so this is super flexible. When you are laying out your page, you just have to figure out what you want side by side and what you want on its own, and then assign it the appropriate columns. Media queries basically let you change the display for different screen sizes. So what I do with that is I will look at my page and then I will resize it. And if I don't like how it looks, then I will throw in a media query. And sometimes if I have logos, I will remove a logo. I might change a graphic if the graphic is too big. I might change the background graphics, some colors, so it looks better on a smaller device. Okay, so that's what media queries are used for. They typically look for a maximum width and then change the content. Okay, so this section basically goes through how to set that up. And breakpoints are basically different media queries that you set up for different size screens. Always designed for mobile first. This is a new trend, and this is typically how mobile is thought of. If you design for mobile first and the page looks good on mobile, it's going to look good on anything. Okay, and that's kind of the thought behind mobile first. Printer-friendly pages. You are going to learn how to make your page printer-friendly. So you're only going to see how it looks when it prints if you press Control and P. Okay, this is when the CSS for printer-friendly shows up. Okay, otherwise you shouldn't be seeing the CSS for printer-friendly. And it's a totally separate CSS file. You typically remove all color. You make all the text black, size 12. You remove links. You remove images. You remove all navigation, and because you don't want to waste people's ink, basically. Okay, and so you will be learning how to set that up as well. If you have a really long article, there is information on how to add page breaks. Okay, and when you have printer friendly, you need both your regular CSS plus the printing CSS. And your regular CSS goes first and your printing CSS goes second. You have to have both because the only time the print CSS is going to be used is if they press Control P. This section also talks about making your images responsive. 100% is responsive. How to use the picture element where you can have multiple pictures. A lot of this is review because we've already talked about it. How to make your videos responsive. And again, setting the width to 100% makes it responsive. We don't really get into frameworks in this class, but I do include a link to Bootstrap and the W3 CSS framework. Bootstrap is something that we learn in CIT180, Advanced Relational Databases, and we also learn it in CIT218, Web Apps. Okay, so you will get Bootstrap in your future classes. As far as marketing your page, we do get into a little SEO marketing, not a lot, but different things that you can do in your meta tags and in your alt attributes that will help your page come near the top when searches are conducted. Okay, so that's all in this section. And then if for some reason you don't want a page indexed by all of the bot software, what you can do to prevent your page from getting indexed. Okay, so that's all in the notes. And once you finish with that, you're going to go into the textbook assignment. And you'll be working on a couple different responsive sites. The first thing you're going to do is convert your Acme vertical into a responsive site that uses grid view. Okay, and this is the code you're going to be using to do that. And then you're going to be downloading a Zen website. It's got multiple pages, and you will be adding the grid view formatting for that. And you will make it adaptive. So it's going to display differently for different screen sizes. So you're going to use media queries. You'll also be creating a printer-friendly CSS in addition to your regular CSS for this site. You will also be adding the meta tags for the SEO component. So you'll be primarily working on this page for the textbook assignment. And everything you are required to do, there are videos in each section that kind of walk you through it. Now, once you finish, you're going to go into the lab assignment and you're going to do your own responsive page. And I highly recommend that you use the Zen homepage, the Zen print, and the Zen screen CSS kind of as a model for what you need to do. And I did create a video that kind of walks you through my responsive page. And I recently did another completely different page. It's got a completely different style, and it's a responsive photo gallery. And what I did was I incorporated all of these requirements into that page, just to give you, a different type of page that you could work with. And so you can see I added some little fun CSS here. I've got my little branding up at the top. And at the bottom, I've got the awesome font, awesome icon bar and some contact information. And this is responsive. I did throw the media queries in here. So this is desktop size. But when it gets down to tablet size, you'll see background color changes and the size change. And I also kind of got rid of that logo up top. And then when I get down to phone size, okay, different background color again, and the look has changed once more. Okay, so it gets down to a certain point, and then logo goes away. Okay, and everything is totally responsive. So if you want to see the code for this, all you have to do is right-click, view page source. You can see my CSS is up top that I used for the page itself and for printing. And all of my other code is available as well. So you are going to do your own responsive page. Make sure you incorporate all the requirements, and the topic can be whatever you want. Once you're done with that, you're going to go into the discussion forum and you're going to add a new discussion topic, and it's going to be similar to what I did. So I gave a link, and to give a link, all you have to do is pull up your page, click on the address, Control-C to copy, and then you click in here and Control and the letter V as in Victor to paste. Okay, and then people can click on your link and see your page. And then you basically just answer the questions. Who is your audience? What is the purpose? Why did you pick the color scheme and layout? How did you decide on the sections? That type of thing. Okay, and so I typed this up based on this example. So once you finish all of that, make sure you read your classmates and look at them, because you do have to reply. There are points associated with replying to others. And once you do all of that, you are done. And if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you have a lot of fun with this. Responsive web design is fun, and the fact that you can do it on whatever you're interested in makes it even more fun.